So this time, I'm stepping into the shadows of progressive rock, where Mellotrons haunt empty hallways and time signatures twist like unseen phantoms. What happens when music itself becomes a ghost story? Today I uncover the progressive rock tracks that really terrify, mesmerise and linger long after the lights go out. These songs just don't tell tales, they drag you into them. You'll hear whispers, screams and spectral echoes that really refuse to leave. Prepare to walk through some of the most haunted soundscapes where tension really never ceases. The journey begins now, and nothing really is quite what it seems. Progressive rock has always thrived on imagination, on drama and pushing boundaries. Fantasy, mythology, sci-fi, and yes, horror, really all part of its DNA. Horror in prog isn't just cheap thrills, it's tension that creeps into your bones. There's haunted choirs, whispered vocals, and sudden crescendos that really create fear that often lingers long into the night. Lyrics explore madness, spirits, and paranoia in ways that really feel quite unsettlingly real. From 70s gothic epics to modern metal nightmares, prog has perfected this craft just perfectly. I'm going to start with Witch Hunt by Rush. Choirs, wail and icy guitar textures slice through the shadows on this one. Neil Peart's lyrics warn of paranoia turning communities against one another. The tension builds slowly, and you feel the dread settling in your chest. It's been called one of Rush's darkest, most cinematic pieces. I'll leave you to decide on that one. The story of mob hysteria keeps you on edge. Who will survive the night? That oppressive atmosphere makes each note feel like a ticking clock. You wonder if fear itself could consume the listeners, as it does the characters in this song. And by the end, the chilling wind of dread never lets you go. What about the godfather of terror next, and it's Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells? That melody begins so innocently, it's almost serene before the darkness creeps in. That minimalist repetition really creates tension that's felt endlessly and quite inescapable. It's been praised for its austere beauty and its innovative structure. I'll second that. But its association with The Exorcist really cemented it as a terror classic. Each passing measure drags you deeper into that unease, leaving you wondering really if safety does actually exist. The calm moments lull you until a sudden shift reminds you that fear is always present. You really do feel caught between the serenity and the dread, unsure which really will claim you next. Next is Zombie by Goblin. Synths, poles, and percussion creeps like the undead themselves in this one. There's a rhythm that lurches forward, unstoppable, dragging listeners with it. Critics have hailed it as an audio terror and a masterclass in cinematic dread. Every measure felt like the dead closing in on you. You anticipate each twist, each unexpected note, wondering really who will survive. Tension is relentless, yet you just can't stop listening. Goblin transformed music into a stalking presence, alive and really very menacing indeed. And by the end, those shadows really seem to move in time with the rhythm itself. Careful with that Axe Eugene by Pink Floyd is next. There's whispers and quiet breathing, and this lulls you into a false sense of security. Then, a scream pierces the silence, shocking in its immediacy. It's been likened to a masterclass in tension, and it's really easy to see why. It's got a slow build-up, and this creates the anticipation that tightens really like a vice. You wonder if another scream will come, and when it does, it really does leave a mark. Every repetition increases the unease to fever-pitch levels. The track's terror is really psychological, preying on what you imagine next. And by the end, you realise that silence afterwards is probably more frightening than the music itself. Now, Halloween Part 1 and 2 from Pulsar is the 5th in this list. Mellotron choirs float, flutes whisper, and the narrative titters on the supernatural. It's gothic romanticism, really in musical form. The music shifts between beauty and dread, leaving you really quite uncertain which will dominate. Ghosts seem to linger between every note, and you do anticipate each chilling passage as to what will come next. Then there's the rising crescendos that really make you wonder what is coming next. Each section reveals new layers of tension and mystery. You feel drawn into a haunted realm, really where safety is only an illusion. At the end, that veil between worlds really feels thinner, and you're not really sure you want it to be restored. Genesis pop up next with their spooky song, The Musical Box. A murdered boy returns, older, obsessed, and really quite unstoppable. Peter Gabriel's performance twists innocence into nightmare on this one. The Musical Box may be the quintessential track for dark storytelling and musical grandeur. The actual music box motif lulls you even as danger lurks beneath the surface. Musical crescendos erupt unpredictably, keeping you right on the edge. And again, you wonder what will happen to the living and the dead next in this story. It has an inevitability that heightens the suspense as each note drives that narrative. By the final chord, the nightmare lingers, leaving really quite a haunting resonance. Alucard by Gentle Giant is next. It's Dracula in musical form, and he really prowls through angular riffs and shifting time signatures. It's been described as the carnival of the strange, and it remains playful but sinister. The music prowls unpredictably, keeping you guessing really at every turn. You wonder when and how the next creature might strike. Their trademark harmonic twists really make the menace feel alive, lurking just out of sight. These playful elements heighten the tension by creating really what is a false security. Each measure keeps you on the edge, wondering what comes next. But the creature's presence lingers, leaving teeth marks on your imagination. For those that didn't realise, the title Alucard is Dracula spelt backwards. Pretty clever there, fellas. Darkness 1111 by Van der Graaf Generator is our next creepy crawly. Peter Hamill's voice trembles with haunted intensity. There's a saxophone that really wails like restless spirits, and those Mellotron sounds chill the blood. This track has a real tangible gothic weight to it and psychological impact. The lyrics evoke isolation, paranoia, and supernatural dread. Every note makes you question what lurks unseen just around that corner. The tension never eases, and each crescendo tightens that emotional grip. You do actually begin to anticipate what horrors may appear next, as the music twists unpredictably. But as the song closes, the darkness feels really inescapable and all-consuming. Terrifying. The Raven flies in now from the Alan Parsons project. This was inspired by Edgar Allan Poe, and this song whispers despair through vocoder-treated vocals. It's a song that's really been admired for its polished homage to Gothic literature. There are strings and choirs, and these really evoke the midnight drama, pulling you deeper into the suspense. You begin to wonder if the Raven will speak, or if silence will claim you. Each repetition of Nevermore deepens unease, leaving questions unanswered. This tension builds subtly, making every note really feel very ominous indeed. You begin to wonder what the next dark revelation is as the music weaves its spell. And by the end, the haunting echo of the Raven lingers, really long after that song has ended. A Nightmare to Remember by Dream Theater is next. Here there's childhood trauma, chaos and fear, and these all unfold at a modern prog-metal epic. It has a cinematic scale to it, and whilst the narrative intensity builds, the thunderous riffs crash whilst the ghostly piano passages hint at lurking danger. Again, you're wondering where each twist will come from and if relief will ever be part of the story. There's some more whispered passages making the music feel alive, following you down dark corridors. Every section escalates the suspense, driving the story forward relentlessly. And by the end, the terror and thrill leave a pulse that lingers. Tell you what, let's throw in a bonus track, shall we? How about Steve Hackett, The Devil as an Englishman, just to finish off with? Now, this is a playful, theatrical and really devilishly cunning piece of music. There's much to admire in the dark humour and clever storytelling. The devil dances through each measure, making you wonder what mischief comes next. There's a whimsical melody, and this really masks a real sinister undertone that keeps you guessing. Every chord shift really hinting at danger may appear just around that corner. You can try to anticipate the next trick or devilishly twist, but it's always cleverly masked. On this one, the tension is light, but it is deliberate, creating suspense really without the dread of some of the earlier tracks. And by the end, the devil's presence lingers, mischievous smile in your mind's eye. Now, progressive rock just doesn't tell stories. It really drags you into them at the best of the times. And these tracks, from whispered dread to gothic epics, from 70s Mellotron ghosts to modern metal nightmares, the tension is really real. These are tracks that don't just entertain. They haunt, leaving questions and shadows behind. Prog transforms fear into art, making the listener part of the story. And once you step inside, the haunted world just doesn't let you go. Each song leaves echoes, whispers and spectral memories that really persist. And sometimes, just sometimes, the scariest part is realising you want to return. I hope you've enjoyed this Halloween episode and the songs I've selected. Let me know your favourites in the comments, if you will. Until next time, keep listening, keep exploring, and in the world of prog, the journey never really ends. And remember, don't have nightmares out there.
Thank you for watching. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Good night.